Hey guys, welcome back to the Rideshare Hub. I'm here with Ronnie. I'm not naked, by the way. Sorry, it kind of looked like that. I'm wearing a shirt.
Okay, okay.
Um, but anyways, so I'm interviewing Ronnie. He's an Uber driver. He also has his own YouTube channel. I'll have the link down below in the description. Before we get started, though, if you haven't heard of Solo, it's this awesome app where you can basically get like guaranteed pay if you're a rideshare driver or a gig worker. They'll give you an estimate, and if you don't meet that pay estimate, they will pay you the difference. And if you use the link in our description, you can get sent an extra $15 just for signing up and linking your gig account. So definitely check that out. Anyways, let's get started with the interview. So, why don't you just give like a brief background on like why you started Uber and like what you do and stuff like that?
All right, sounds good. Sounds good. Well, you already know I got to start with the introduction. So let me get in my element. Man, what's going on, people? Ronnie Speed coming back. Man, you know what time it is, man. Here we with the Rideshare Hub. Let's get it. So yeah, man. So I started driving Uber in 2016. So when I first started, I was driving part time, and the reason why I signed up to drive Uber, I was working two jobs at the San Francisco airport. So the normal day, I get there at like 11 a.m. and work from 11 a.m. pretty much until 2 a.m. with both jobs. And at the time, I didn't have a car. You know, I was trying to get back in school, didn't have a car, so I used to stay at the airport till about 5 a.m. You know, just till the train opened back up so I could catch it back home. And a friend of mine that was working at the airport with me, shout out to him. He showed me that he was driving Uber. He was like, "Look, man, once you drive Uber, they have a rental car program. You know, you could get your own car and you can make more money." And at the time, he showed me the numbers. He was making like 1,200, 1,500, 800, 900. You know, a couple thousand. You know, like $1,000 a week. And I'm like, "Damn, why don't I try this?" I didn't argue with him or nothing. Like the numbers spoke for itself. So I was like, "Shit, I'll give it a try." And I signed up, and the rest is history. So right now on Uber, I think I've completed like over 21,000 trips. So you
Oh,
can say
wow, that's a
I'm a
lot.
seasoned veteran. Yeah.
That's great. Wait, how many years have you been doing it?
Total like five and a half on and off. I started doing it full time, and what year was that? I would say maybe fall of 2017, beginning of 2018. And once I started going full time, I just really started to love the autonomy, love the freedom, love the income it was bringing in, and I just like depending on myself. Having a boss or being told what to do that never really suited me. I'm a very disagreeable person, and I found something that works for me. So I won't be such a degenerate or be destructive in the workforce. So just been doing this right now and started a YouTube channel to help people because it's so much bad information out there. People go to how much money do Uber and Lyft drivers make. Then they come across videos, people they'll give it like a week, a couple days, but they're not really grinding. But they try to have an opinion about how much money a driver can make, but they never really grind it, or they wanted to do it just for a video, which I'm not hating, but that's not the truth.
I mean, it really just like varies and depends how much like time and like effort you put into it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is what I've noticed after doing a few years talking to drivers. I used to help a lot of drivers. Transitioning from a 9 to 5 into doing ride share, a lot of people aren't disciplined. Yeah, I mean, and if you work a normal job, you really never had to be disciplined because if you have to be at work at 9 a.m., that means you have to show up at 9 a.m., regardless if you want to or not. But people have no problem doing that. But when it's time to drive, oh, I'm gonna drive at 8 a.m., whatever time they set out for themselves. Once that alarm go up, oh snooze, oh snooze. Then they get out there 2 hours, 3 hours later at a bad time when everybody already at work. So now you coming to drive at lunchtime. Then it's a lot slower. You drive 3 hours, and then you go back home. Oh, it's not worth it, or it's too many people out there. But so that's not 100% accurate. It's a lot of behind the scenes that people don't tell you about, and especially about themselves and their disciplines and what they exactly doing. So everybody have a story that they tell themselves, but when it comes down to it, only thing you have to do is say, let me see your earnings for the week. And if they drove in 17, 18, 20 hours, it's like you happen.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Let's go back in time to 5 years ago when you first started. Do you remember how much you made in like your very first week?
Oh, damn. Good question. The very first week. No, I don't remember how much I made the very first week, but I remember at the time I was making probably like $600, $800, part time. And at the time, I was waking up early, like 5 in the morning. I guess I was used to it because I was an athlete my whole life. So, waking up at 4 a.m. to go to weights, it was nothing. So I would say at the time, maybe like 600 through $800 a week. Then once I started to get a feel for it more, then 1,000, 1,200, and that's just like part time. So I was making way more money part time driving Uber than I was at the airline job. So that's why I was like, damn, I like this.
So is that kind of when you switched and like stopped doing the airline job?
No, 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 not right away. I would say like summer of 2017, like the airline job, they had some seasonal positions open. So meaning I would go from just working like part time throughout the year to only summer. And I was like, okay, so I still would have my flight benefits at the airline, and I could make money doing Uber full time, have an autonomous schedule. And it's like, and I still have access to fly anywhere, around the world. So I was like, not too shabby. That sound pretty good. So I was
Yeah, it
driving
does.
Uber. Yeah, so I was driving Uber like for those 8 months just full time, and getting a feel for it. And at the time, I was making $2,000 a week, probably like
Oh
fifteen
wow.
hundred, 1,600, 1,700, and getting a feel for it. I was like, yeah, this is where it's at. And when it was time for me to go back to the airline job, I remember like the first day we had to go in and do like badging. So we had to do like the computer stuff to get our badge. And the other seasonal workers, they coming in, they already complaining. So I was like, damn, here we go. So keep in mind for that 8 months, it was all me, me, my own mindset. I didn't have people negative opinions or, you know, just yeah, the whole negative like disease that like once you go into a certain like work environment, you know how it is. People just complain, and then that takes a toll on you. I didn't want to hear that, and they messed up my schedule. So I was there for like 8 days. I would start doing the math one day when I was at work. I'm like, okay, if I stay here for the summertime, I'm going to be at least missing out on at least $10,000. So I
Yeah.
just walked to my locker, I grabbed my stuff, and I just walked out. then
Oh,
the
you
rest
didn't
is
have to
history.
give like 2 weeks
Man,
notice.
listen here, man. That 2 week notice, that shit is for the birds. Like if I'm ready to leave, I'm going to leave. Like I'm not gonna sit up here and wait an extra 2 weeks. I'm ready to go right now. So why do I have to give you 2 weeks? Like, okay, I do what's best for me. I don't care that you don't have no workers. Hire somebody. Not my problem. So I left.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. I mean, I didn't give in 2 weeks at my last job before
There you go.
this, so
Yeah, we just rolling out. We're not giving no 2 weeks. I'm ready to go right now. And they
yeah,
messed like and I said they messed up my schedule. So I had this whole like plan, like, okay, I could work, I think during like the morning time or something, and still drive a little bit, and I could still at the time I was heavy on the dating apps. So I was like, oh, okay. And they messed that up. I was like, okay, I gotta get up out of here.
yeah. So now you obviously like Uber way more than working a regular job. How much did you make on your best day? Like, what's the most you've made in a single day driving for Uber?
Um,
And how many hours did you work that day?
okay, I have a video on my channel, probably from like last year sometime. I want to say it was like 565 or 60 something dollars. And I don't think that's with any like promotions. That's just straight up trips, and maybe like around 11, anywhere from 10 to 12 hours. I can't remember the exact amount of hours. I'll have to go back and watch the video. So about say like 5 something, 560.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's
Mhm.
really good, actually.
Yeah, yeah,
What would
not too
that be
shabby.
like 50 to 60 an hour?
You said would it be 15 to 16 hours?
50 to 60
Oh, a
per
week?
hour. No,
Oh,
like
I see what
per
you're saying. I see what you're saying. 50 or 60 per. hour. I don't know. I don't do like the numbers like that. And the reason why, because there's too many nerds out here. I always say this. When I'm making my videos, because like, how much is that per hour? Like, oh well, what about the deductions and the gas? Like, people take this so serious and they make it more complicated than what it needs to be. I just put the time in. I try to set out to make like now like 300 something dollars a day, and maybe at the time I was probably doing trying to do like 11 or close to 12 hours a day. And I was like, hey man, I made $565, and if y'all want to do the math, you're more than welcome to it. But I really don't care.
So you don't think it's important to kind of like map stuff out like that?
You said map stuff out.
Or just like break things down or like
As far as breaking things down, I think it depends on your situation, because you have two different types of drivers. You had a part time, you had a full time. So we're gonna start off with part time. If you work in a normal job, you got to find ways that realistically how many hours that you could drive per week. And I always say, like, try to set a goal for yourself. People don't break down people don't really break down like the numbers as far as how much money they could potentially, make doing this. So let's say you was to make an average like $500 a week, part time. That's an extra $2,000 a month that you could have. So they don't find ways that they could benefit. They too busy worrying about dumb stuff. Like, well, what about gas? Or there are no benefits, or I heard this from somebody else. Like, man, forget all that, man. Just put the time in. Even if you make 80 to $100 a day, it's like you can still benefit. And as far as
yeah.
full time, if you plan on doing a full time, I would only thing you have to break down is like your expenses, how much money that you need to make to cover your rent and all this other stuff. Then you break down the numbers. Okay, I need to make this per week. All right. And as simple as that. But as far as like getting real intricate, it's like the numbers, like, okay, well, I drove 40 hours and I averaged this per hour. Like, okay, even if you do figure that out, what is that going to do for you? I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
because I feel like the most important areas that you can focus on is your disciplines. I mean, because even you could break down all the numbers, but you only drove 15, 20 hours and you inconsistent, then why does the numbers really matter? It doesn't.
So, what do you think are like some mistakes that drivers will make that will keep them from reaching their goals doing Uber?
Well, first and foremost, I think most drivers really don't have any goals. I think most people fail to use their greatest asset, which is their ability to think. If you don't set any goals, then you don't have a roadmap, and you don't have nothing, a destination that's going to pull you forward. So when you are driving, when times are getting hard, you have nothing that's going to keep you going, like nothing that you're striving for. So first and foremost, people fail to set goals, and as simple as that. Like when I first started driving, it's like I was making money, but I was constantly trying to figure out what did I want to do long term. So I'm going online, and I'm out here in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. So all these tech nerds, they telling me about different resources where I can learn like how to program and stuff. So I thought about doing that, trying to like go like Code Academy, learn how to do Python and stuff. I'm like going to software meetups, and I'm just looking around like, damn, do I really want to be around these nerds? And I'm like, no. Then I was like, man, I want to make content. I like making videos. I think I'm hilarious and I have personality. And I've always been a charismatic person. So I was like, I'm gonna go with this. And just slowly but surely start taking the steps to like learn about like camera settings, learn about storytelling. Um, and just just starting and executing. I mean, it's not going to be like a smooth path. It's definitely ups and downs, but people don't set goals, and people give up way too early. Even if they do set goals, they just, oh, it's too hard, so I quit, and it was just too much work. I mean, that's fine, but I don't know. I'm never gonna give up. I'm just a determined person, so I would say, setting goals first and foremost. You have to set some goals, and you got to work on your disciplines, man. It's hard because it's all on you. So only you can determine, your path. So if you're not working hard, then it's easy to get behind on things, and you can only hold yourself accountable. Most people, they don't want to do that. They want to play the blame game. Ooh, look, Uber, like, they don't give us enough money. They don't pay drivers. Even on my comments, I still get negative comments, but I don't care, because most people, I know they never, for a fact that they never driven. The fact of the matter is, they give you 12 hours a day. 12 times 7 is 84. So how many drivers are really driving 84 hours in a week? Not many. So figure it out.
the more you drive, the more money you should make. And then,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, I guess there's like tips and quests on top of that that can add to it. But yeah, I think a lot of people do struggle with just being disciplined and like kind of trying to set a routine for themselves because when you're basically like essentially self-employed in a way, there's no one to hold you accountable
yep,
except for yourself.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
That's a fact, and you have to hold yourself accountable, and you just got to be as objective as possible. Like, forget your ego, forget your feelings. Like, only you know. Like, did you try your best? And there's no point of you saying or pointing a finger. Everything is your fault, and that's how I approach life. Everything is my fault. The good, the bad is my fault. So, and I think most people have a better life by holding themselves accountable, and that's just how it is. Excuse me. Because the fact of the matter is, nobody cares about your excuses. Like, you could complain all day, but if you go on a date with a girl, but yeah, I drive Uber, the CEO, though, she gonna look. I don't give a fuck. Nobody cares. Fix your life. Fix your shit. So,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Do you know of anyone that's gotten deactivated from Uber?
personally,
Yeah.
I don't know anybody personally. I know I've seen this a lot lately. Like, people get deactivated, but it's always two sides of the story. And like I said, most people don't hold themselves accountable. So I don't know why people are getting deactivated. I've done more trips than most people out here. I've never been deactivated. Well, I've been deactivated for 24 hours, and
Oh,
that was only
really?
like yeah, and that was only once. So I don't know. It's hard for me to. Are they really telling the truth? Like, I don't know why people are getting deactivated. Like, how? Like, what are you doing to get deactivated? I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't. It's just I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it's important to have a dash cam. Do you have a dash cam in your car?
Nah.
Oh,
Oh,
you should get
never had
one.
it. I should. Yeah, I should. People been saying like, do you have a dash cam? But I never had a dash cam. Like, I don't know.
Because I mean, like, knock on wood, hopefully nothing happens. But like, if you were to get into an accident or like someone was being weird in your car, then you have video proof of
Right,
that.
right. Yeah, yeah. You right. You right.
So since you've been driving Uber for so long, do you think like a lot of things have changed over the years, like the rates or like how the app works?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like, when I first started driving, the features of, you knowing how much money that you're getting up front, and also where exactly the trips are going, that wasn't implemented. I mean, yeah, the bonus and incentives were, you know, a lot, more like in the past, but the nature of the game is overall the same for me. It's like, you got to be disciplined, you got to get out there, you got to put the work in, and that's just how it is. So, um, as far as the app, yeah, the features of the upfront details and the trip destinations wasn't there like earlier, and I'm trying to think what else was not implemented. And that's all I could really think of right now. And I'm sure a lot of people markets have changed since the whole pandemic or whatever. So that changed a lot. And I
Yeah,
was still
true.
driving during like 2020. It was slow, but I was still getting out there trying to get it done because I knew for a fact, one, it's all on me. I was testing myself, and I knew if I could get through this 2020, like, everything else would be easy. So instead of like what most people was doing during the pandemic, just chilling at the house and uh, on EDD, not working. I was still, like, working, trying to work on myself and try to get through it, because that's the only thing that you can do. You don't have the time and luxury to be lazy. And if you are lazy, you're gonna suffer later on in life. So I always say, if you on earth, you screwed. Either way, either you're gonna be fucked on the front because you have to put the work in to better yourself and live a better life later on, or you do nothing right now and live good right now, then later on you're gonna be screwed. So the choice is yours.
Yeah, see, you gotta think about like if like what's more worth it to you, the short term or the long term
Yeah, and
result?
people just, they don't, one, like I said, they don't plan, and they don't think. It's just all about fun for most people. Like, going and hanging out with, like I said, hanging out with friends and going to brunch and drinking White Claws and hiking. I mean, that's fine, but it's like that, to me, that doesn't interest me. I'm trying to get paid, man, and you got to sacrifice if you really want to get to the top and fix your life. I mean, the choices. There's no right or wrong answer. It all depends on which how ambitious you are and the goals that you set out for yourself. Only you know because it's something that's gonna be telling you. Like it's like you will feel it, like within yourself. Like you won't be able to sleep, and I think that that's another reason why people get like anxiety and anxious because it's something to tell them that they have to do something, but they're not doing nothing, and doing nothing, not taking action, being complacent. That's where they get all the nervousness and the fear. Like, no, execute and act. Simple.
That's some good advice. Yeah, y'all watching should listen to him. I think these are like good tips. Do you have any other tips for drivers or just like people in general?
Yeah, yeah. I will highly recommend everybody to try to drive 84 hours. Attempt it. No, fuck attempt it. Do it. Do it at least for a month. Try do it for a week. Then I try to do it for a month. And the reason why I say do that is because you have to push yourself, especially doing this. Like I said, you don't have the luxury to be complacent, and doing this you're gonna have to work, and that's just how it is. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing. Like, oh, it's gonna be super easy. I mean, it's easy because the only thing you're doing is driving and you putting the time in, but people are not in control of their emotions. So I would try to recommend, doing the 12 hours a day for at least a week. And the reason why you want to do that, because you want to prove to yourself that you are capable, that you can become competent. Put the maximum hours in so you can see how much, what's the true earning potential of your market. That's the only way it can be done. And that's what I did, like in 2019. 'Cause I remember what's it, yeah. At the beginning of 2019 when we was getting our 2018 like 1099 back, I'm just looking at it. I'm like, damn, I grossed like 80 and I net like 60. I'm like, damn, I was just bullshitting. I'm like, I know I could do better than this. So then like the following week, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna drive 12 hours a day for like as many days as possible for this month. I used to call it like 30-day challenges, and the lowest I ever done was like 26 out of 30 days, driving 12 hours. And that's when I start to learn like the market, the true earning potentials. I'm out there on holidays. So people always have opinions. People try to hypothesize their markets, and like, but most people don't really know nothing because they never really put the work in. And the
Yeah.
more and the more work you put in, even when it's slow, you will start to learn things. You will collect information, but they don't look at it like that. You want to just collect information and data for yourself. Then you can have your confidence up. So I know if I take like a week off or a few days off, I could get back out there and still make $2,000. Why? Because I put the work in. And people often ask me, "Oh, I live in Arizona. Or I live in this city or state. Can I make $2,000?" I'm like, I don't know. I don't live there. Put the work in. I think most people know what they have to do. They just choose not to do it.
Yeah, definitely. But I know like this is kind of an odd question, but
No, go ahead.
have you noticed any like health issues just driving so many hours or like being seated for so long?
Yeah, 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 for sure. And that's a good point. I mean, there are definitely health risks and health issues that people gonna come across, but more than likely they gonna come across those health issues at some point anyway. Because if you're not working out, then driving or no driving, you screwed. So you got to take care of yourself. You got to eat properly. You got to exercise. That's why I try to like I don't know how much of my content you've seen, but I bring my perfect push-ups with me. Knock out a set in between trips. You want to stay in relatively good shape. I mean, if you just driving, sitting down, not moving, eating fast food, eating Whoppers and stuff, then yeah, man, like slowly but surely your health gonna start to deteriorate. So you want to be aware of that. It's and that's the thing, man. It's deeper than just driving. It's kind of like a lifestyle, like grinding, eating good, setting goals, creating visions, like all that.
Yeah, because I interviewed this other guy that was saying that I guess it's pretty common for people to have like joint problems in their
Yeah.
knees.
Hmm.
So I guess that's why it's good to kind of get up, walk around, or like stretch. every
Yeah, get up,
hour,
stretch. I mean,
maybe.
even myself, I have to get better at that, but I'm not gonna make excuses. I mean, yeah, you definitely have to exercise, but how many of those people are actually running? Running, on the treadmill or running like a half mile or whatever. You just gotta find ways to get it done, especially if you only driving like 6 to 8 hours. I mean, shit, you could easily like exercise if you really 10, 12 hours, 60, 80 hours a week. I mean, I get it's definitely harder, but it's still some time in the day to get a little quick
Yeah,
workout in.
I mean, that's, like, pretty much all the questions that I have, but if you have any final thoughts or, like, anything you wanna add, feel free to go ahead, say it now.
Okay, let me think. Well, dang, I gotta clear my throat. Yeah, so for all the people that's going to be watching this, who's thinking about doing Uber or Lyft, man, try it out. Don't listen to all like the negative people or like family, friends, because everybody gonna have some type of opinion, and more than likely it's gonna be a negative opinion because of the things that they heard in the media, seen in the media, or heard from other drivers. But it's not 100% their fault because if people are telling them, how would they know like what's really possible? I mean, you can make some money out here. And I don't believe in taking losses. Everything you will win. If you look for the benefits, you will win. Like I said, something as simple as $500 a week, what could be an extra $2,000 a month in income for you. And if you're doing it full time, do the 12 hours. Like, see how much money you could potentially make. See, like, test yourself, push yourself to become better. Strive to be disciplined. Set goals for yourself, man. Because every day it's like it's all on you. And the longer that you do this, you don't want to be stuck. I see a lot of content like I said, the nerds. And to me, nerds is deeper than just people being analytical. It's actually an acronym, never embracing real driving. Like they never embrace real driving as far as putting the work in. So they focus on things that they either that they cannot control or things that really doesn't matter. Only thing that you can control is how you attack life, how you attack this ride share, the goals you create, the knowledge that the skill sets that you have. I mean, it's all on you. You got to figure out ways that you could benefit, make money. I mean, you constantly come in contact with hundreds and thousands of people over the years. How can you benefit from that? Stop worrying about benefits and all this. Like you got the number one benefit, which is you to be in control of your own time. Most of y'all spend more money eating out than that what you would pay on healthcare. So is it really about benefits? Just control yourself, man. That's and put the time in. I guess that's all I really have to say. Then if y'all want some more content, if you could go to my playlist, I have this thing called a 2 racks a week challenge. It's a playlist of people who have made $2,000 or more in a week in different markets. So far, I think it's about 33 people that have all made $2,000 that
Oh, yeah, that's
actually
good.
came on to my channel. That's not including people who have made $2,000 who didn't want to come on. So like people out here, they figuring out, they seeing the message, the awareness is out, and it's up to you. Because if you see other people making $2,000, why would you not want to be one of those people? Like instead of you, like, well, what about how much you net, how much you spend on gas? Like people just made $2,000. More than likely, it's a lot of people that's coming from only making, $800 bi-weekly, $1,200 bi-weekly. Then they do this. Now they 2, 3x in their income. So it's like, are they winning or are they losing? Like you talk about gas prices, but what about the person that they becoming in the process from doing this? People don't look at that. Like they don't want to better themselves. They just want to play the blame game. So, man, winners win, losers lose, man. Simple as that. If you a winner, you will find out a way to elevate yourself, to learn some things, and to put the work in. And if you a loser, you just gonna sit up here, complain, be negative, have a bad mindset, and life is going to be a lot harder for you. Instead of being open minded and trying to learn, look at people who may have get the results that you want, and ask questions and being open minded and holding yourself accountable instead of just hating.
I think
Yeah,
this
I
is
could do
good
that.
advice, really for anyone, not even just Uber drivers.
I'm about to say, yeah, it's all about habits, man. Regardless if you're doing an
Yeah,
Uber or something else, man. It's the same thing, man. Like how bad do you want to achieve what you set out to achieve? Only you know what you're capable of. Only you know what your interests are. Use your brain, think, take action, start to learn a new skill set and fix your life. Cause you think the CEO gonna fix it? No. I see a lot of people just talking about like the CEO and it's just talking. It's like little birds, like just talk, talk, talk. There's no solutions. Like how many people or how much content have you seen where people are actually offering solutions for people?
I feel like there's not a lot.
Yeah, it's not a lot. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, you should just be like a motivational speaker.
Yeah, that's what people tell me. I hear that often.
Well, if I ever become an Uber driver, I'll use some of your tips.
Yeah,
Um,
you should do it.
I can't right now. I'm not old enough.
How old are you?
I'm 20.
Oh, okay. So next year you'll be 21 or at the end of this year.
At the end of this year, or like in a month.
Shit, you should sign up. Yeah, she don't want
Yeah, I
that. You
mean,
don't want that work.
no, I would try it out. Um, Personally,
uh-huh.
I see a lot of safety issues.
Oh, let me touch on that real quick. As far as safety issues, I always recommend people to start like around 5 in the morning and do like the commuter hours. And try to avoid like sketchy areas and be aware. Even if you are in a sketchy area, don't sit there on your phone with your doors unlocked. Pay attention. Pay attention to what's going on. Because at the end of the day, like your life is, on the line. So you want to be smart, you want to be aware, you want to keep your head on the swivel. Then, if you drive at night for whatever reason, maybe that's the only time you could drive because you got family or another job. It's the same thing. Just know and understand the risk is a lot higher when you're driving at night because people are drunk, and that's when all the BS happens. People don't know how
Yeah,
to act, man. So that's one of the reasons why I don't drive at night because I don't want to deal with drunk people. They requesting Ubers. They passed out on the street. They don't know where they at. They loud. I'm like, I don't got time for that.
yeah, it makes sense. Well, thank you so much for all your wisdom that you're sharing with our audience and for coming on the channel.
All right, thanks for having me. I mean, it was fun. I could talk for days. You already know. But
Yeah, but yeah, anyways, guys, again, you can check out his links in the description. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos, and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And also leave a comment down below if you have any other questions.